have suddenly remembered na ito pala kami na host because of the show na to. Yeah. We are happy to be complete again. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm back. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo, brand new week, and we are so ready to share it with you. Let's go kickstart your Monday with good vibes, great company, and unstoppable energy.
Happy Monday, I'm Monique Tuzon. Anytime's a good time because it's always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. Pao, have you heard her accent this morning? Iba.
What? I
Iba
don't
yung accent niya.
I was gonna say, Mo. I was gonna say, I was gonna say, Mo. You sound like you feel like you're at home now, right? You feel like you're back in the States,
I'm a
right?
fellow American girl with me. It's iba yung accent ni Anne.
Oh, but can I just say, so it's great to have Anne back. But can I just, it felt like kasi she didn't really enjoy her vacation eh.
I didn't?
Kasi sa
What do you
mga
mean?
pictures niya.
You look so sad.
Hindi siya
Parang you missed us.
Oo.
We were all wondering every time you posted.
Bakit siya nga ganito? Direct pa-zoom in nga. Ganito lang si Anne the entire time eh.
Yeah, I know, Anne. I know you were sad.
I was not sad.
Oh, sample yung roller coaster niya.
Tapos nag-roller coaster
You know,
siya.
most people, when they roller coaster, they're
Okay,
like,
example, Mo. Yan.
And this was
Usually,
Anne, okay?
Si Anne ganito.
so hindi ka nag-enjoy, Anne.
No, I did enjoy, but
okay.
I couldn't really
Explain.
move my face.
Bakit?
We already had this explanation
No,
before
but then
I
that
left.
explanation was so long ago. I don't
That
remember.
was 3 weeks ago.
Ano pinag-usapan natin nun?
So I had thread lips, courtesy of Lip Clinic. Thank you so much, Lip Clinic. And I had to be very careful with my face. Hindi ako pwedeng bilhin. But now, okay na. I don't think I was allowed nga to go to ride a roller coaster, parang bawal. So I was like, every time I
Kasi,
had to shout.
ladies and gentlemen, okay, also, Anne has changed it. She has changed her social media
mean?
social
this
media
is
handle.
so important. This is
3
breaking
times.
news.
3 times
Yes.
in the past 2
No, like 2.5
months.
weeks.
Yeah, there, it's posted there,
Yeah,
guys.
ito
So give me
ito
a
yung social
follow.
media handle niya, okay? Yung official, alright? Palabas
Official
ulit, please.
now, the new
Yung
Anne Asis-Carilo.
Asis-Carilo. Can we
Yeah.
bring that up underneath? So, ito na yung official social media handle ni Anne. That is because when she changed it the first time from Voice Talent Tita, mali yung spelling ng pangalan
She was
niya.
doing it while she was driving and she forgot how to
Uy.
spell her last
Yeah,
name. So it became
well.
Anne Extilo.
I know, right?
Biglang naging Castillo si Anne.
Oh my goodness. So funny. But anyway, I'm bringing the fun back on the show.
Bakit? Wasn't it not fun without you?
It
Well, we
was
had
fun.
We
fun.
had the best time kaya, Anne.
Oo.
Oh, we
Okay.
forgot. We were 3, remember, Pao?
At one point, Anne, nagsusumbong lang ako. Sabi ni Mo,
Bakit?
sabi ni Mo,
Wow.
ano to? Sino yung Anne? Sino yung Anne Asis-Carilo? Sabi ko, hindi yung,
Who's that? I only know Voice Talent Tita kasi. That's why. I don't know who
ayun.
Anne Extilo is.
Okay, but ladies and
Kidding, we miss you,
gentlemen,
Anne.
you should go check out yung social media post niya. Hanapin niyo po yung nasa roller coaster
And then
siya.
pa-zoom in,
yung pababa.
please.
And then, makikita niyo, okay? She can't open her mouth, pero sobrang stress kasi lumalabas yung ugat dito sa leg niya.
You know what? I have a funny story. Can I just make kwento? So we rode on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride where you just fall and then rise up again and fall. So I had to shout. I wanted to shout but I couldn't. So I was
Buti
like,
hindi natanggal yung threads mo,
Hindi,
Anne.
hindi
no,
rin niya
I didn't
aabot yung mukha niya.
I didn't
So,
make
gumagano
any
siya.
sound. I didn't make any sound. I was like, oh my God. I wasn't even opening my mouth. Like, and then my mom was sitting beside me and then she was like, hindi ka tumutunog. I'm doing mute.
Nahimatay. Okay, guys. I know we're having fun, pero may show pa tayo.
Yes. We have a jam-packed show
Kala ko si
today.
Anne yung guest natin today.
Oo.
We have a lot to talk about today. My favorite topic ever, AI.
Okay,
We're
kala ko
having
kasi
that
favorite topic
later.
mo, si Miss Global Universe Philippines
Oh,
andito.
yes.
Yeah, we haven't. Before she's leaving,
Oo.
she's leaving actually tomorrow for Singapore. So we're so glad that she squeezed us in.
Oo, then may
Busy time.
live hit din tayo from one of our reporters. And,
Si
kasi,
Paolo.
No, kasi
Paolo
ganito
too.
yun eh.
Another Paolo.
We're trying our best to make this show as winningest as possible. And alam naman natin lahat na basta Paolo panalo. Kaya
Sure
papasok
ka?
si Paolo Barcelon mamaya. Oo, mula sa Paolo Leyte.
Yes, Paolo in Palo. Diba? It's so perfect.
So much we can talk about
Well, I'm
here.
so excited for today's show, but you also have a WHQ guest.
Yes, sa Weather HQ, we're going to be talking about the diabetes. So for those who are...
Oh,
For
dami pang
those who
chocolates
are...
dinala ni Anne.
Ala, okay.
Nobody is eating chocolate
one's eating
in the
chocolate.
show.
It's not
Okay, I'm bringing it back
Diabetes.
home.
We're bringing
More
it back
for me
home.
then.
So, yung tanong ko naman, traffic ba sa... Where were you?
She was all over.
I don't know where
San
you were.
Francisco, Texas, LA.
It was a bit traffic in LA, yeah.
Okay, pero sa EDSA kaya?
Sa EDSA, let's go see. Let's check out the situation in major roads at this hour. Let's take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard. We got light to moderate traffic on that stretch as early as this hour. On the right side are for vehicles going to Cubao, and as you can see, no problem yet. Here is a look now at EDSA Orense in Makati. On the left side are vehicles going to Pasay City. Light traffic on that area. And on the right side are vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. Light traffic as well. Now, the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Monday, guys. So vehicles with license plates ending in 1 and 2 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Good news for motorists. We can expect a rollback this week after 5 straight weeks of surging oil prices. Gasoline prices may go down by 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter, diesel by 2 pesos and 10 centavos, and kerosene by 2 pesos and 20 centavos a liter. The Energy Department's Oil Industry Management Bureau says U.S. President Donald Trump's ceasefire announcement between Israel and Iran has helped offset last week's sharp price increase. Now let's find out what the weather's going to be like this Monday. Paolo has today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Paolo.
Thank you so much, Mo. Let's take a look at the local weather where 2 separate weather systems are expected to bring widespread rainfall across different parts of the country today. So let's start off first that as of 3 a.m. today, a low pressure area or LPA is within the Philippine area of responsibility that was last detected approximately 1,230 kilometers east of central Luzon. Now, there's also the southwest monsoon we have to worry about. The southwest monsoon, also known as the Habagat, continues to affect Visayas and Mindanao as well as central and southern Luzon. Now, according to Pag-asa, as we go and focus on the LPA, this LPA has a low chance to develop into a tropical cyclone within the next 24 hours. However, the extended trough or the outer band of the LPA is currently bringing overcast conditions accompanied by scattered rain showers and thunderstorms to Aurora, Quezon, the Bicol region, and of course, eastern Visayas. So all of these areas here affected by the trough of the LPA. Now, elsewhere in Luzon, skies will be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy throughout the day. However, isolated rain showers or thunderstorms are still possible, especially during the late afternoon and into the evening hours as well. These localized storms are primarily triggered by the continuing effects of the southwest monsoon or the Habagat that we mentioned coming in from this part of the country and affecting this here. Now, over in Metro Manila though, the rest of Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and most parts of the Visayas and Mindanao, the southwest monsoon is also bringing cloudy skies and intermittent rain showers with thunderstorms over that area. Now, due to moderate to occasionally heavy rains, there is a possibility of flash floods and landslides, especially in areas with terrain prone to these hazards. So do watch out for all of that. Now, in terms of the sea conditions, let's see how the conditions are across our coastal waters. Pag-asa has not issued any gale warnings despite the presence of the LPA or the southwest monsoon. But in the northern and central Luzon areas, light to moderate winds are expected with wave heights up to 1.8 meters. Similar conditions are expected in other parts of the country with light to moderate winds and seas of up to 1.5 meters. Fishermen and sea travelers are advised to remain alert as thunderstorms may suddenly cause the wave heights to increase. Safety at sea remains our top priority, so stay safe out there. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment. Ay po ba to? Hindi. Kabalik na si Anne. Anne, back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao, for that weather update. Now on to our top stories. Incoming lawmakers Chel Jokno and Panfilo Lacson said Senator judges cannot dismiss the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte through a simple majority vote. Jokno stressed that the Constitution does not allow such a move, while Lacson said any motion to dismiss must come from the defense, not from senators acting as judges. Jokno added that Senator judges are sworn to decide only after all evidence has been presented, not before. Their statements come after Senate President Cheese Escudero said that the Senate, acting as an impeachment court, could decide on the outcome of the case through a simple majority vote. The complaint against Duterte includes allegations of misused confidential funds, unexplained wealth, and her controversial assassination remarks against President Marcos, the First Lady, and the House Speaker. Earlier this month, the Senate voted to return the articles of impeachment to the House without dismissing them, despite a motion to dismiss filed by Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, a known ally of the Duterte family.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte's Davao City house is now for sale. His longtime partner, Hanilet Abansenya, confirmed the sale in a radio interview this weekend. She said she could no longer bring herself to visit the house after the former president was flown to The Hague, Netherlands. After FPRRD's arrest, the property became a site of pilgrimage for loyal supporters, where they held vigils, left flowers, and took photos beside a life-size standee of his likeness. It was once a symbol of a simple lifestyle back when he was still in power.
Thousands gathered at UP Diliman in Quezon City over the weekend to celebrate the third installment of Love Laban Pride PH Festival, in time for the culmination of the Pride Month. Rainbow flags filled the UP Diliman Academic Oval as members of the LGBTQ+ community and their allies marched to celebrate Pride and push for gender equality. Greeting each other with Happy Pride, attendees enjoyed a lively atmosphere of music, colorful fashion, and festive stalls offering food, games, and merchandise. Now, despite the sudden downpour, the LGBTQ+ community and allies continued the celebration while also enjoying live performances at the UP Sunken Garden. This year's Love Laban event highlighted calls for the passage of the SOGI Equality Bill as well as environmental sustainability, among others.
The Health Department held its first online counseling session for Filipinos affected by the Iran-Israel conflict. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa led the activity over the weekend, attended by at least 60 overseas Filipino workers based in Israel. Participants received psychological first aid and debriefing through breakout rooms facilitated by psychiatrists and psychosocial experts. In coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Migrant Workers, officials plan to conduct similar sessions every 2 weeks, depending on their needs. The DFA earlier reported 146 Filipinos lost their homes to missile strikes. Of that number, 128 have already been resettled in temporary shelters. Over 100 have been repatriated, while 75 others are confirmed to return home soon.
Involuntary hunger among Filipino families rose slightly to 20% by late April from the 19.1% in the first half of the month this year. Now, according to the latest social weather station survey, SWS defines involuntary hunger as experiencing hunger without anything to eat at least once in the past 3 months. 20% is made of up to 16.4% who experience moderate hunger and 3.6% who experience severe hunger. Hunger was highest in Mindanao at 26.3%, followed by Metro Manila, Visayas, and Balance Luzon, or areas in the region outside of Metro Manila. The same survey found that 50% of Filipinos consider themselves poor, while 41% see themselves as food poor. SWS noted that hunger remains highest among food-poor families. All streets in Navotas that were previously flooded are now passable. Flooding has subsided along M. Naval Street, which was earlier under 4 to 5 inches of floodwater. To recall, a river wall in Barangay San Jose gave way just before noon on Saturday, June 28, causing floodwaters to rise to as high as 2 meters in some areas because of the high tide. In the meantime, the local government has announced a shift to online or modular classes today in Navotas Elementary School 1, Tanza Elementary School, and Tanza National High School due to forecasted high tide at 1:48 p.m. later today.
A group of dolphins were spotted swimming along with a fisherman's boat in Zambales. According to the video owner, Lito Cavador, they were heading out to the open sea of Camaya Coast to fish when they saw a group of 10 to 20 dolphins in front of their vessel. He was overjoyed to see the pod of mammals keeping up with their speed. In world news, short video app TikTok might just have a buyer. U.S. President Donald Trump said in a Fox News interview that he had found a buyer for the short video app. Trump did not disclose who, but he described the buyers as a group of, quote, very wealthy people. He said the deal is developing and would probably need China's approval to move forward. The U.S. president had earlier extended the deadline for China-based ByteDance to divest the U.S. assets of TikTok despite a law that mandated its sale or shutdown without significant process. Trump, who credits the app with boosting his support among young voters in last November's presidential election, has extended the deadline 3 times. Thousands of New Yorkers took to the streets Sunday for the city's annual Pride Parade. Colorful floats, costumes, and performances highlighted the annual New York City tradition. Pride began as a yearly commemoration of the Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1969, when the Greenwich Village gay bar's patrons fought back during a police raid. This year marks the 56th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. This year's celebration is occurring in the wake of Trump's executive orders limiting transgender rights and rescinding anti-discrimination policies for LGBTQ plus people. Pope Leo XIV on Sunday imposed the pallium on 54 new metropolitan archbishops during the celebration of the Mass for Saints Peter and Paul, patrons of Rome. The pallium is a woolen band that the Pope bestowed upon the shoulders of metropolitans. Leo explained it expresses the communion with the Bishop of Rome. Now, during the celebration, the Pope warned the new archbishops against same-old pastoral plans. 8 of them come from the U.S., becoming the most represented in the delegation. The late Pope Francis previously skipped this tradition and instead decided to leave the pallium to the nuncio in each archbishop's country to impose them in local ceremony. At the time, Francis explained that he meant to give greater prominence to local churches.
Now on to sports. It's on to the next for Filipino tennis phenom Alex Ayala as she gears up for her main draw debut at Wimbledon. The newly minted women's world number 56 will face defending champion Barbora Krejcikova in her first assignment in the Grass Court Classic. Now that match is scheduled for Tuesday, July 1, Philippine time. Ayala is coming off an incredible run at the Eastbourne Open where she became the first ever Filipino to reach a WTA final. Now she finished as a runner-up after a valiant effort against Australia's Maya Joint. Now back here at home, 3 cheers for Barangay Ginebra San Miguel as they regain the series lead in the PBA's Philippine Cup semifinals. The Gin Kings took down the San Miguel Beermen in Game 3 Sunday at Smart Araneta Coliseum. Final score 100-90. RJ Abarientos led Barangay Ginebra with a near triple-double, scoring 24 points and grabbing 9 rebounds and dishing out 8 assists. The Gin Kings now lead the semi-series 2-1 against the Beermen. Now in the first game, the Rain or Shine Alyssa Painters mixing it up as they stun the TNT Tropang 5G 107-86. The E-Painters taking advantage of TNT star Roger Ray Pogoy's absence, with Anton Asisio leading with a personal playoff high of 24 points built on 4 out of 5 triples and a couple of 4-pointers. Big man Keith Datu had a solid game with a double-double of 13 markers and 10 rebounds as well. TNT still leads the series though, 2-1. Now overseas in the NBA, looks like LeBron James is staying put in Los Angeles, just in time for season number 23. Now in a media interview, LeBron's agent Rich Paul confirmed that the King is exercising his $52.6 million player option for the upcoming season. Now, it is not immediately known if the 4-time NBA champ intends to play beyond this year. The NBA's all-time leading scorer has suited up for 1,562 regular season games. just 50 games shy of breaking Hall of Famer Robert Parrish's record for most games played in league history. LeBron entered the NBA straight out of high school at 18 years old, drafted first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2003. Back then, I was 13 and Mo was a fetus. Shifting gears to Formula One, Lando Norris gains ground on teammate Oscar Piastri after the McLaren tandem completed a 1-2 finish in the Austrian Grand Prix. The Britain's third victory of the season slashed Piastri's lead from 22 to 15 points, with both McLaren drivers now locked in an intense battle at the top. Charles Leclerc completed the podium for Ferrari at third place. Red Bull star Max Verstappen, though, suffered his first retirement of the season after a lap collision with Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli, a costly exit in his team's home race.
Now back to local news. The province of Leyte is trying to gear up to make itself competitive in terms of tourism. Our correspondent Paolo Barcelon joins us live from Palo, Leyte, where he has been covering all weekend. Paolo, in what ways is Leyte trying to sell itself as a viable tourist destination?
Well, good morning. And one of the ways the local government here is trying to highlight the different tourist spots in Leyte is through experiences and a whole lot of digital promotion, as they are trying to target the Gen Z and the millennial markets, which are very much big spenders when it comes to travel and tourism. Now, just this weekend, we went to two key areas in the province, such as Calangaman Island in the town of Palumpon and a day tour in the city of Baybay. Calangaman Island boasts of a natural sandbar which can be visible in low tide and a true island experience free from excessive commercialization. Now, Palumpon Vice Mayor James Keith de la Calzada says local and foreign tourists have loved this spot due to its Virgin Island vibes and that reservations to the island are always in demand. The island is accessible from a 1-hour boat ride from Palumpon and costs 300 pesos for a day trip and 450 pesos for an overnight trip for locals. Aside from the beach, Palumpon also has a mangrove park and a bird sanctuary which is just a stone's throw away from the town hall. These mangroves helped spare the town during the wrath of Super Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, and visitors can also enjoy spectacular views from its viewing deck. Now, Anne, meanwhile, in Baybay City, food and heritage tourism is at the core of its offerings, with a breakfast at the Sea of Clouds restaurant among the top attractions. There's also the boardwalk area near the port where locals can try Baybay's chicken barbecue, as well as other local delicacies. Now, the town is also known, Anne, for the production of jackfruit and kamote chips, which is a healthier and guilt-free alternative to traditional snacks. Baybay also has several pilgrim churches and also houses the oldest church in the Diocese of Maasin, while also hosting a spectacular view of the city from the Lintaon Peak, which is the so-called mini Batanes of Baybay. And Leyte currently holds records millions of visitors in an annual basis. The Regional Department of Tourism says over 1 million overnight tourists per year arrived in the province in 2023 and 2024, while the province tallied over 9.3 million same-day tourist arrivals in the same period. And
you know, Paolo, I am loving your adventure over there. Paolo in Palo. Now, one of the airlines that frequently fly to that area is AirAsia Philippines. Do they have any promos in store to encourage more to visit that province?
Yes, and they do have the 516 peso one-way base fare going from Manila to Tacloban. You can start booking your travels now, and the travel validity is up to March 2026. So if you, Monique, and Paolo, may tukayo over there, would like to plan a travel to Leyte, then you better take advantage of these promos, because one of the goals of AirAsia really is to democratize air travel. And as what AirAsia spokesperson Steve Dailison says, they are a partner of the local government in trying to promote Leyte as one of the more visible tourist destinations compared to its neighbors here in the Visayas. As you can see, Leyte is surrounded by very competitive tourist destinations within the region and of course around the Philippines. But right now, one of the key partnerships of the local government with AirAsia Philippines is through Access. So just a little bit of a background there, 94% load factors have always been observed served in AirAsia flights going to Tacloban. That means if it's a 180-seater jet, it's nearly always full, regardless of the time that the time of the flight. So there are really a lot of people really coming in and traveling here to Tacloban. And based on their internal surveys, they are seeing a lot of millennials and Gen Z travelers who are really hungry for these types of experiences. You know, getting out of your comfort zone, going out of Metro Manila, and at least trying to travel and experience different sights and sounds around the Philippines. Anne?
Paolo here. Alam mo, sigurado ako na palong-palo ka sa
Ay,
Palo.
tayo.
Of course. And some of the sites that you visited are near key environmental attractions. And sigurado naman ako that the LGU is there trying to make sure na sustainable yung tourism doon. How's the LGU actually doing work to take care of yung surrounding environment to ensure na hindi madadamage yung flora at fauna sa mga locations na to?
You know what, Tokayo? One of the things that I actually admire dito sa mga local governments ng Leyte is that they're really trying to make sure that the environment is really well taken care of. For example, in Kalangaman Island, Paolo, only 500 tourists are allowed per day when it comes to booking. So that means it's an acceptable carrying capacity to try and at least preserve the environment there. And policies which are similar to what are implemented in Boracay after the rehabilitation or after the rehabilitation of the island are also in place in Kalangaman. For example, you can take home pebbles, you can take home sand. So kung may gusto kang i-request na buhangin, bawal yan because the LGU strictly prohibits it. They're also not allowing the use of soap in the island because once chemicals or detergents react to the water, it's a whole different thing and it can cause pollution. Another thing is once you bring trash to the island, you have to bring it back to the mainland in Palumpon. So that's a very, very good example of how sustainable tourism is being promoted. I've been covering a lot of tourist destinations over the last few years, Paolo, and this is just one of the best practices that the LGU has been doing to ensure that, you know, development is there and visitors are there, but also we take care of our beautiful, beautiful tourist destinations, Paolo.
Paolo, thank you so much from another fellow Paolo, pero Monique has something more for you here.
Paolo and Paolo, I have a quick question because earlier you mentioned about the food. So you had me at food. Have you tried the Bye Bye barbecue? Like, what is that?
Yes, it's pretty delicious, Mo. I mean, when you actually go to Baybay City, the boardwalk there is one of the major, I would say, food destinations because, interesting fact, they have a uniform recipe for the chicken barbecue, which started in the 1970s. So if you're really hungry and you're exhausted from, you know, traveling all day, you should go to the boardwalk there and try their delicacies because the local tourism office here says that one of the important things when you're opening up a stall in the boardwalk is to make sure that your chicken barbecue flavor is up to the recommended standards of the LGU. That's why whatever stall you go there, when it comes to the chicken barbecue, the taste is just the same. But the same can't be said, of course, for their other offerings because they also have fresh seafood. They also have the some form of pancit and all other delicacies served with puso or the triangle or the heart-shaped rice that Visayans are known for. So it's really a gastronomic delight here in Leyte, and not just in Baybay. We've also visited other areas. For example, there's also the famous Moron Suman. There's also a lot of other tasty food offerings like jackfruit chips, for example. It's also produced in Baybay. The local government is also encouraging a lot of these farmers to plant jackfruit to help and to make sure that the economy is growing there. And now they're venturing into other forms of guilt-free snacks, such as what they call fiber fit. So they encourage the kids here to eat vegetables, but in the form of chips. So you can just imagine the amount of food you've been eating towards this entire trip. But really, it's really experiencing the local flavors, the local cuisine, just stepping away from the hustle and the bustle of the city and going here to Leyte. And as the locals call it here, see you Leyte. Back to you,
Say
Monique.
no more. I'm on my way. That sounds amazing.
Thank you so much, Paolo. And you had me at the barbecue from the 1970s. May ka-generation pala si Anna Barbecue. Thank you so much for joining us, Paolo. It's Paolo Barcelona reporting live from Palo, Leyte.
Now on entertainment, Squid Game celebrates the release of its final season. Pink Guards and the Killer Doll march down Central Seoul in a colorfully eerie parade to celebrate the final season of the beloved Netflix series. At the event, director Hwang Dong-hyuk said he's a little sad that it's over after so long, but is also relieved that he can finally put it down.
25 years later, and the ride is still going strong for Sugar Free's iconic track Burnout, thanks to old fans and new ones alike. The song soared to number 21 on the Spotify Philippines chart with a massive 317,000 streams, jumping 10 spots. In an Instagram post, Sugar Free frontman Ebe Dancel reflected on the song's enduring legacy, saying it's surprising how even the younger generation is discovering and sharing it. He went on to thank those who continue to listen to the song. It's been a roller coaster ride these days for beauty queen Alyssa Villariña as she gets to represent the country in the 2025 Miss Global Universe pageant this week. Alyssa will join us live after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Sometimes you never know what's coming at you. Just ask our guest today who gets a huge assignment on such a short notice. Alyssa Villariña is taking over Estephanie Ladignon as our representative in the Miss Global Universe pageant happening in Singapore from July 1 to the 6th. It's a beautiful day, Alyssa, and welcome to the show.
Yes, it's a beautiful day indeed. Hello, everyone. I'm Alyssa Villariña, your Miss Global Universe Philippines 2025.
Love it. She practiced.
I know.
ready.
Ready. Such a beauty queen welcome, you know.
Yeah, Mo, why are you never like that?
Grabe ka naman. Beauty queen welcome. I'm always like that. What are you talking
I
about?
don't know about that. I don't know.
But we've been talking about this off the air. It's been quite a whirlwind couple of days for you, Alyssa. You are now representing us in this pageant after Stephanie had to pull out due to unexpected passport-related concerns.
Yes.
How are you feeling now that it's official?
Well, actually, I'm very excited to the point that when I received the news, I did not sleep because I was so excited
I bet.
with this journey. And the couple of days so far, it's been really hectic on my end, but it's gonna be worth it. I know it because I'm here.
Exactly, and we're so glad you're here. As we mentioned, normally the queens that come through us, they have good luck. So for sure, you're gonna win.
No pressure naman.
Right? But when you got that call, what was running through your mind? Were you like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I haven't prepared, I need to prepare? Like, just walk us through that moment when you found out you were gonna represent the Philippines.
Well, actually, when I received the call, I was at home applying for jobs because I resigned for my past job, and it's because I joined Binibining Pilipinas and I was one of the semi-finalists for this year. And so I was applying some jobs, and then my manager called me, Tito Jess, and then he said, are you busy right now? Can we have a short conversation? Sabi ko, yes, sure po. And then he said, do you have a passport naman, di ba? Sabi ko, yes, I have. Yun, that's the first question talaga. And then after that, he said like, gusto mo bang lumaban and represent the Philippines? Syempre, I was shocked because represent the Philippines is like a rare opportunity. And I was like, sige Tito, like give me a few minutes, I will think this through. And then parang in a while, I called him back and I said yes. So that's the gist of the story.
First of all, gusto ko na you spent a few minutes to think about
Yeah.
it muna.
Sandali
Okay, so
lang.
what was the Okay, first of all, ilan minutes? And what was the thought process like when you're considering it?
On my end, I did call my parents because like it's a big thing for me. So I had a second opinion from them. And then after they said their thoughts naman, parang sa akin, okay, this is it. So the goal naman is to represent always the Philippines, and an opportunity came, and I'm very grateful that I was given a chance to represent the Philippines.
You've been competing in beauty pageant, in the
Yes.
beauty pageant scene for quite some time. Aside from finishing one of the top 14 in the Binibining Pilipinas pageant, you're also the reigning Miss Rizal, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
that's correct.
So from Rizal to the global stage, oh my goodness, can you
Yes.
tell us all about your journey, and what has this journey taught about you, for yourself?
On my end, it really taught me to be more independent, because when I joined Mr. and Miss Rizal, I have no handlers at that time. So I really did expedite and tap into many people that would help me, and I'm very grateful for them. And with my Binibining Pilipinas journey, I believe that it actually prepared me for this. So I'm calling that like a blessing also, because it taught me how to do my makeup on my own and a lot of things, which made me realize that I can do more things that I thought I couldn't at first.
And you have such a short time to prepare. What, they gave you
Yes.
a week?
No, less than a week
Okay,
actually.
so you have less than a
Wow.
week to prepare for this global pageant. What are you doing aside from visiting us here in Bilyonaryo to prepare for you leaving tomorrow already?
Yes, it's already tomorrow. Well, for my preparations, I actually tried to diet in a few days, but I don't think I don't think it's gonna work.
Challenge young girl.
Yeah. So on my end, I did research about the platform Global Universe. Of course, will be representing the Philippines, and it's a big opportunity for me to highlight our culture and heritage, because that's like one of the focus of the pageant. And I'm also very grateful because I can still showcase my advocacies as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about yung advocacies mo because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, it involves elderly care and of
Yes.
course the environment. When you take a look at those advocacies, first off, how did they become your advocacies? And second, how can this platform actually help you shine a light into those advocacies?
Okay, yes. On my end, it's very personal because I was raised by my grandparents and they passed away already. So it's quite a touching story, and every time I try my best not to cry. Pero yun nga, from that, there and on, and with Mr. and Miss Rizal, I was given an opportunity to work with the SWD Tanay, with Haven for the Elderly. So I just visited there last Saturday, and I'm actually very grateful to still work with this and support our elderly people, because for me, it's like they have raised me, they have raised us. So it's like my time to give back to them.
Okay.
Yes, and for our environment, also very personal, because just last year, as a Rizaleña, we experienced quite a bit, especially with the recent typhoons. It was like back to back to back.
Yes.
3 typhoons, if I'm not mistaken, and Rizal suffered a lot actually. Aside from casualties, there were also loss of lives, sadly, and which is why I realized that there's need to be an initiative when it comes to environmental awareness and tree planting, most especially. And I've worked with the LGU as well as with other NGOs to have this Seeds of Hope, Roots for the Future, which is a tree planting and an environmental awareness campaign. And with Miss Global Universe Philippines, I'm really excited not just to promote and advocate for this advocacy, but at the same time to also really work with future partners that would lead me to better access to promoting this advocacy.
Actually, it was actually 6 typhoons in that short
Oh,
span of
6,
time. Oh,
okay.
parang ganun if I remember correctly. But of course, maybe Rizal was hit harder by 3 in particular. Pero so relatively new yung environmental advocacy mo, considering the recent events.
Yes, it's very recent. But I started with this tree planting last August pa last year. So we were able to plant more than 1,000 pageant naman na. And it's being monitored by the LGU.
Not a lot of people know this about you, Alyssa, but aside from being a beauty queen, you are a medical representative by
Yes.
day and a freelance content writer by night.
So hindi siya natutulog.
Literally.
And then you also graduated magna cum laude.
Yes.
And then now she's training for the pageant
My goodness,
also.
how do you balance all of these responsibilities with your pageant duties?
Well, of course, it's all about time management, and you have to really be passionate of what you are doing, and that is what I have been doing. So anything is great for me, and I still have time to sleep.
Alyssa, we're gonna sana may time.
Sana may tayo. Oo.
We all know that well, but I want to ask you, let's practice for your Q&A since
Oh,
you're leaving for tomorrow.
sure.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Pageants normally put such a pressure, I know, on the candidates to be perfect. But
Yes.
when was the last time you felt imperfect, and what did that teach you?
Well, I would say that every day I have been feeling that I am imperfect, because when I look at the mirror, I see my flaws. I have my pimple right here, and it's a reminder that you are not a perfect person, but it does not make me lesser of a person. And I'm actually proud of myself because I'm able to achieve things, and if I'm able to do so, I believe everyone else can do it. You just have to believe and persevere for yourself.
Wow, she's ready.
Yeah.
Ready.
No, it is.
So inspiring.
Mine's not quite a beauty queen. I can't do what you do. But you mentioned a while ago that the goal was always to represent the Philippines.
Yes.
To always wear the sash, to be able to say, oh, I'm from the Philippines and international pageant. Now that the moment is coming,
Yes.
and the moment of realization, unang-una, you said you called your parents.
Yes.
And you know that the goal has always been that. How did they react when you asked them that you were still thinking about it, that you were still considering, quote unquote? So what does that mean to them naman?
Actually, they're watching live right now,
Oh,
so hello.
hello.
to my parents,
Hello.
my papa, hello. On that end, when I called them, their main issue was like, how's the flight, the hotel you'll be staying. It's more of the finances that they're concerned, not on my end, because they know that this is what I want. This is what I have been doing in the past couple of years, and I know that I have their support, and which is why I'm very grateful for them. So that was their main concern, and I just explained to them that if your concern is the expenses, the organization as well as my manager told me that everything would be clear. I just have to do my best and represent the Philippines.
Alam mo, no pressure, Alyssa, pero we have a good record in terms of
Yeah.
wishing good luck and
yeah.
seeing off mga Filipino queens going overseas, and we're so excited for you. We really are. And
Also very
sobrang
excited.
meant to be kasi you had the right documentation, you had the right pedigree, and here you are, gonna be representing the Philippines.
Yes.
And we hope to see you next week
my
when you
goodness.
win.
Yes,
We're
I
manifesting
You
it
have to
already.
come
Yes,
back.
yes.
Yeah. And you're flying off tomorrow, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken. Oh my
tomorrow.
goodness. I can just, imagine the excitement. But before we let you go, what is your message to all the young women who are watching you right now, looking up to you, idolizing you? What is your message for these ladies?
So to all young women out there, and regardless of gender, I would just like to say to always believe in yourself, because everything that is meant for you will always come. And no matter how hard you are struggling right now, I just want you to remind yourself that everything happens for a reason, just like mine is. So yes, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck once again, Miss Global Universe Philippines 2025, Alyssa Villariña. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Up next, we'll put ourselves to the test if we can instantly spot AI-generated videos. And experts join us to talk about regulating AI here in the Philippines. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. You're still watching. It's a beautiful day. AI video generators are getting out of control. Deepfakes and AI outputs are almost undistinguishable, and everyone is susceptible. How should the Philippines follow suit as other countries start to develop laws on AI regulation? And can you instantly spot an AI-generated video? We're joined in the studio by democracy.net.ph Director for Rights, Carlos Nazareno. We also have via Zoom Jose Kristian Resabal, a young co-founder of an AI firm. It's a beautiful day, guys. Hi, Naz. Hi, Christian. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So we'll start by taking a short test. We have the three of us, basically, Paolo, Anne, and myself. We'll guess whether the photos or videos on the LED screen we're gonna shine are AI generated or not. You guys can also chime in if you guys want. Our prod team would tell us if we guessed right or not. So let's see if we get this. We have not seen any of them.
You have not seen it?
All right, so let's roll video. Oh, I know this one because I read about
this too. Yeah.
So this is definitely AI.
Yes.
But at first, I thought it was not.
Oh,
A lot of netizens were actually commenting,
Yeah.
thinking it was real.
Same. I was
Yeah.
like, how is this girl bringing a kangaroo on the airplane? But it's so cute.
No, kangaroos don't have opposable thumbs. He cannot hold the passport.
Baka he has a passport though.
No, the boarding pass.
boarding pass.
Tapos yung boarding pass, hindi pa tama yung text. If you look really
If you
closely,
zoom in.
Yeah.
it's not real text. But anyway, I think it's safe to say AI. Everyone's
AI,
AI.
yes.
Naz, I think you're AI as well, and Chris, AI. So yes, it's AI. That is.
So cute though.
So yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
so we're correct, right?
how about
Yes,
you,
it's
Chris?
AI.
Yes, we are correct.
Would you have
Next.
been fooled, Chris? Chris, would you have been fooled by that video with the kangaroo? All right, so we're gonna try and fix this audio in just a bit. We're gonna roll video number 2 here. So the second video coming up, and oh, it's a oh.
Oh, I saw
wait,
this, but
I
I'm
saw
not
this.
sure if this was AI or not because I didn't read the comments. I think this is real. I'm just gonna put that out there. Naz, do you think this is
think
real
this
or
is-
fake?
I'm not quite sure.
I think this is.
Because I don't understand the
'Cause
language of the text, so that's
Thai.
why
Yeah, so
I feel like
he's
it's
an-
AI.
might be real.
How about
I think it's
you,
real.
Chris? Can you hear us now? If can you see this? Can you tell us if it's real or
Yep.
not?
I think it is real because if you can look at the text, it's probably like either Hindu or
Yeah, this was in
Thai,
India.
so
I get you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna find out if it's real or not. Can we get an answer for our prod?
Oh,
It's
it's
AI.
I got it right.
Jeez.
It looks so real.
I don't know
Oh,
because
wow.
the lion or whatever animal that is, it looked fake to me.
It looked fake.
Yeah,
You know what? Now that I look
Si
at the
AI
animal,
queen, si Anne. But now that you
It
pointed
looked
out,
fake to me.
pero
Yeah.
grabe, we were like half on this. Wait, Paul, did
Wow.
you think it was real or did you think
I
it was
thought
AI?
it was real. I thought it was
Oh,
real
so we
because
all
I thought
thought
it could
it
be
was
like
real.
in India or in Thailand. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay, let's go
Alright.
to video number 3. Again, thank you to our extra
Oh, this is real. This is real.
I
He's
feel like
so
this is
cute.
real.
Do you think this is real, Naz?
I am not quite sure.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I
about-
feel like it's real.
Chris,
Trouble.
how about
Chris,
you?
what about you?
Oh, Chris is thinking.
Yeah, Chris, do you think this is AI or this is real?
probably this is AI.
I feel like it's
Really?
real.
Okay.
But look at the details.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
the word on the
Yeah.
shirt.
Oh, the word on the
even
shirt.
the movement.
Seems- I'm not
Like when you
sure.
look at the movement, it's very natural. So I feel like this is real.
Oh wow. Okay. Sige.
Wait,
so
Pao,
our
what
prod.
do you think? You don't answer until after.
Is it? Let's
Wait,
ask her.
wait. We're
Bob.
asking our prod right now.
It's
real.
real.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Ah, so
So
if
close.
someone is going to make AIFI a golden achiever, I will be so upset. Sorry, retriever. Okay. Roll video number 4, please. All right.
This
the next
is,
one.
Oh, this is AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems
so
AI.
sorry.
Yeah, this looks too
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's AI.
It's AI,
Are we
right?
all in
Like
agreement?
Chris is like sure. How about you, Naz? Are you? What do
I
you
think it's AI.
You think
Yeah,
it's AI
it
as
looks
well?
AI.
Girls, are you sure it's AI?
I think it's AI.
Ah, okay.
What do you think, Pao?
Broad break our hearts.
You can see like the background of it. And
Blurred.
it's too blurry. Yeah.
It's
It's
AI.
AI.
All right.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We should have checked yung source. It says Elon AI on top. So,
Oh, yeah.
malamang AI siya.
That was a dead giveaway.
Okay. So we had issues here. I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say. First of all, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show because this has always been one of the more interesting topics, especially when it comes to fake news, generated videos. We've seen even politicians already be fooled by AI video in particular. Now, in terms of the difficulty in spotting, Chris, I'll start with you first. Because there is you have a bit of a background in terms of AI actually making it part of your business. When we take a look at how difficult it is to spot AI in general, as it is now becoming part of yung daily fabric natin, just how important is it that we develop that eye as a society to determine na AI generated nga ba yung content or even the written work that we see out there?
I think in our society right now, we're straying away from like the details that, the specific details, because everything that is AI generated right now, it's becoming very, very much realistic. So instead of looking into the details itself, let's try to look at the message. And if we see like it invokes a very strong emotional response to us, and I think that's how we can actually see if it's AI or not. And it really boils down on the core problems of fake news, right? So if, for example, a particular news story is too emotional and it invokes a lot of emotion out of the viewer, we can try to assume or we can try to be skeptical out of it. And yeah, just connecting that 2 points between fake news and AI, both are almost the same, but you can already use that as a tool to actually detect if a video is AI or not.
So, Kristian, you mentioned instead of looking at the details, we should look at the message. And it kind of reminded me of this issue with Senator Paolo del Rosario. He recently drew flack after sharing a politically charged AI-generated video. And then he said, what's important is the message. What are your comments? Let's ask Naz about this. What are your thoughts on this? So
I completely agree with Kristian. We should be looking at the messaging. If it evokes outrageous messages. So with Senator De La Rosa, I think our public officials should be held to higher standards and accountability, because they have a wide audience and a wide reach, and they're looked upon by the public as people who you look up to.
Yeah, may influence for sure.
May influence, yeah.
Yeah, sorry Mo, I'm gonna take this next one because it actually brings me to a point na, well, if you were a communication student, at one point or another, you're going to hear the term galing kay Marcia McLuhan na the medium is a message. And kapag AI-generated tech becomes yung medium mo, what would that actually say about yung message? Because Senator Paolo de la Rosa did mention the fact na mas importante yung mensahe kaysa sa vehicle itself, which was AI-generated content. In your opinion, will that change yung discourse natin when it comes to yung mga key issues, especially online, where a majority of the discourse does happen nowadays?
I think it really changes the discourse, especially with how we deal with reality these days. Especially with a lot of people having the internet as one of their primary means of interaction. So at one point, we might not be able to trust video conferences as much. Like for example, real-time deepfakes are now happening, which have been robbing companies of millions of dollars. So parang magiging face-to-face na yung
pagka-deepfake, yung AI.
When you interact with people, you'll need to go face-to-face sometimes.
To try and avoid all of that.
Yeah, which is crazy because like a lot of people right now are also worried what AI is going to do is they're going to take our jobs, especially Anne as a voice talent. AI is basically taking over because it's quote unquote cheaper. So let me ask you, Chris, Denmark actually just most recently proposed a bill to copyright their citizens' sound and likeness, which I think is great. What are the pros and cons of this if it becomes law? And do you think we should definitely do that here in the Philippines?
I think the pros, let's start with the pros first. I think people do have a right to their voice and their likeness, right? So anything that tries to clone you or tries to actually say something that you haven't said before, I think it's very important for us to regulate those things. And we've been seeing like a lot of ads here in the Philippines that actually just replicate like another artist's voice or another artist's likeness and put them in billboards. But yeah, I think it's very important for us to have that kind of safety within the media space, right? But I think one of the key cons here is really just the risk of abuse of the law. So some people might even say na, oh, etong picture na to actually AI generated yan. Kaya kailangan patanggalin yan or ipa-fine yung particular company because of that. And even though it's not AI, people can actually just say it because it's really hard to detect it nowadays, right?
Yeah, what about you, Naz? What are your thoughts on this? And should the Philippines follow suit with this law?
So in multiple jurisdictions, there's this thing called personality rights or right to publicity, wherein you can't just use somebody's likeness and features to promote and market stuff, and endorse stuff. And it's happening a lot right now with AI, with news anchors, public personalities being made to sell these products that they did not really endorse using deepfake technology, lip syncing, etc. So I think it's a good thing in that sense that our rights are being protected, and the intention is good, but there's the possibility of abuse. Like for example, with copyright, we have like the Intellectual Property Office and then the Registry of Copyrighted Works. So are we now going to be putting our biometrics into a government database, like our facial features and voices? So that might be dangerous.
Oo nga, how is that going to work? Like if I wanted to copyright my voice,
Yeah.
how do they get a record of all of these voices? Diba? And
She's asking personally.
She's asking for
no,
herself.
I just want to understand maybe how is it going to work in the Philippines, in the world. And see, Christian mentioned a while ago that baka magkaroon ng abuse, so people might abuse the laws. But then if you look at it the other way around, AI can also abuse the creatives, diba?
Yes.
So how do you think we can find a balance, maybe?
I'm actually not quite sure.
Oo nga, hirap na.
It's very tricky. I'm not a lawyer,
Actually,
so
I think Chris, Naz, I think Chris might be able to help answer that. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people are vilifying AI for stealing jobs. But Chris, when we talk about, first of all, AI has to be used by actual users to copy these creatives like Anne, right? But then in terms of regulating AI and maybe even criminalizing the illegal use of it, that might be a bit difficult here. But when you take a look at the ethical considerations of AI, especially that you're in business with AI, where do you draw the line, or what lines need to be drawn in terms of actually profiting from AI?
Actually, the main framework that I use here is really people should use AI to make people's lives better and not to replace them. And I think that's the core principle that we should always think about when using AI. So, for example, trying to automate like somebody's workflow rather than, basically in a business sense, right? You try to use AI to automate the workflow. It doesn't mean that you have to replace that person. It means that it's a brand new opportunity for a person to be developed even further into new roles and new skills.
Chris, I just want to jump in on that again because, again, we have to go back to what Senator Bato de la Rosa said, where he felt like the message was more important than the medium. In other words, allowing AI to actually speak in a way that I guess he preferred or wanted to, or the message that was there. When you take a look at that type of methodology, especially from people in power, do you feel that that is a dangerous proposition? Or do you feel that, you know what, if they have a hard time speaking to a certain demographic, magamit nila yung AI to be able to push yung kanilang beliefs or yung kanilang mga platforms in government in particular?
of course, politics will always be a different discussion, right? You can use AI to do the research yourself, but delivering the message should always be uh, in the responsibility of the politician. I think AI should always be a vehicle to serve the truth rather than a vehicle or a tool to promote like false information or just to get a reaction from the people.
You know, Chris, I like what you mentioned earlier that AI should be here to help us, right, and make us more efficient. So, with that being said, Naz, I want to ask you, how can AI help creatives, small businesses to their advantage? And basically, even when they don't have a big budget, how can AI help them?
Yeah. So we can use it for ideation, for concept art, and then, like for example, in the film industry, you can use it for VFX. Like deepfakes were used for Alien Romulus and Star Wars, The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they needed to there, considering the age of some of the
Yeah.
others. I think
Right.
from a popular pop culture standpoint, nakita natin sa mga de-aging of a certain artists. And if I'm not mistaken, in Rogue One, they brought back to life the actor who played Grand Moff Tarkin in
Yeah.
particular. Sorry, very nerdy, but that's part of it. But then when we take a look at yung regulation, or at least regulation that is expected, should there be any regulation and legislation, the DICT chief actually mentioned that the regulation must balance quote-unquote innovation and governance. When you hear that particular statement, what is the ideal for you when it comes to yung governance and innovation put together to try and regulate AI somewhat?
So the knee-jerk reaction is like to ban deepfakes. But as I said, it's been used for VFX to do things more affordably and with better time savings.
Yeah.
So there's a balance to be held there. It's a tricky, long discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi you're going to have to think
Yeah.
about yung intent of the message as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, Chris, I want to ask you, do you think AI can help solve local problems here? For example, traffic, education gaps, and even disaster response, so we can use it here for our benefit in the Philippines?
Yes, definitely. I'm really pro using AI for education, not to replace teachers, but to supplement materials that that a lot of people don't have access to. So, for example, books or specifically like personal tutelage. I think AI would really help a lot with being able to give a more personalized touch to a student's learning path. For other issues like traffic and uh, traffic and emergencies, I think I don't have that much of an opinion for now. But from the top of my mind, I think with traffic, we can already start ideating how we can use AI to start ideating how we can better improve designs of public transport, or even just general research on how we can improve these things, since probably a lot of the information that works or doesn't work in other countries might not be that accessible. We can use a lot of these things in order to make our own systems in the government much more efficient and based on ground truth, instead of guessing and experimenting on different.
Chris, Naz, alam mo, we had 17 minutes, give or take. To be honest, we needed 2 hours and a half, or maybe even more.
seriously.
And we needed another 30 minutes just for Anne to let loose her actual thoughts on AI, especially
It
when
went
it
by
comes
so
to
quickly.
Yeah.
especially when it comes to creative work.
Yes.
Pero this conversation will be had more and more throughout the next few weeks, months, and maybe even years. So thank you so much for joining us. Democracy.net.ph Director for Rights, Carlos Nazareno, and Jose Kristian Resabal, a young co-founder of an AI firm. Good luck with your future business, gentlemen. And of course, we hope to get to see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so when we return, I'll speak with an expert on how you can stay a step ahead of diabetes. Stay with us. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now, the latest DOST FNRI data shows that 2 in 10 Filipino adults are now pre-diabetic. Now, to help us understand why diabetes remains a serious health issue and how we can prevent it, joining us via Zoom is Dr. Mia Fojas, Clinical Associate Professor from the Division of Endocrinology and Diabetes and Metabolism at the Philippine General Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Fojas. It's a beautiful day.
Good morning. It is a beautiful day. And thank you for inviting me for this talk.
Doc Mia, I wish that we had a more beautiful topic, but we're talking about diabetes here. And dito sa Pilipinas, it actually is one of the top 5 leading causes of death in the Philippines. Just why is it such a problem for Filipinos in general? And of course, can we actually boil that down to yung general lifestyle at culture natin dito sa Pilipinas when it comes to food choices and of course, all of the day-to-day choices we make?
Oh, yes, of course. It is definitely one of the lifestyle diseases that are currently one of the problems in the Philippines. However, we always teach our students that diabetes is really not usually signed up as a cause of death, but it is one of the, it's in the statistics that it's supposed to be one of the leading causes of death because it complicates other diseases like atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. If you add that on to hypertension, diabetes actually complicates everything, including infectious diseases. Individuals are more prone to diseases if the blood glucose is poorly controlled. So it's actually increasing in the Philippines. It's almost 9% as of 2023, and it's rising because of a lot of factors, not just the culture. Previous patients who have been diagnosed, for example, with obesity and who have not been managed adequately, they can proceed to diabetes and a lot of other lifestyle factors that can be actually changed. These are actually modifiable.
Doc, let's talk about yung mga pre-diabetic because as the latest study, around 20% of young Filipino adults are now considered pre-diabetic. And let's first differentiate that. When you're pre-diabetic and haven't moved on to actually being diabetic, what's the difference in terms of yung mga health restrictions, health requirements, and of course how that changes in your body? And of course, can you actually shift from being pre-diabetic to not at risk?
Yes, that's true. You may be pre-diabetes, may not proceed to diabetes, especially if intervened early. Like, for example, as you can see in the FNRI data, did you show that? But anyway, in the FNRI data, there was a decrease or a decline in the prevalence of pre-diabetes or impaired fasting glucose or impaired glucose tolerance in the Philippines. However, diabetes is rising. This could be because of better management among patients with pre-diabetes. They are now more knowledgeable regarding the diet, like to avoid sugars. Remember, sugars are the new addiction right now. So perhaps what we can probably do is educate people some more. And I think the government is actually doing its part with regard to awareness. However, with regard to the availability of healthy foods, that's actually a problem. So healthier foods can actually be more expensive right now.
Yeah.
However, what we can see is that younger individuals now have a higher prevalence of diabetes because of perhaps stress-related or work-related, because a lot of the individuals that have been cited are the working age group. So a lot of our people are actually working and they don't have breaks, and there's the availability of fast foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not really healthy, and the lifestyle with a sleep cycle, that's another stressor that can actually increase the blood glucose levels as well. So again, this can be prevented from proceeding to diabetes for those who have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, because it's mainly lifestyle modification. But we do have available medications for those individuals who are obese in the first place, as a major one of the causes for pre-diabetes proceeding to diabetes.
Doc, you mentioned a lot of key points I want to dive into. Ako personally, nakita ko yung material namin na pinakita dito, and nag-relate ako hindi sa exercise pero sa kumakain. But when you look at you mentioned that there are now, especially for younger individuals, it's not necessarily yung eating habits per se, considering that there's actually a trend of more younger people having more health-conscious decisions when it comes to their food, when it comes to exercise. But you mentioned the stressors here, and maybe that might be an underrated aspect of the move to pre-diabetic to diabetic. When you take a look at just how much of a factor we should also consider yung mga stressors, especially when it comes to work, sleep cycle in particular, just how big of a factor is that going forward from pre-diabetic to diabetic?
You have to understand that stress can increase inflammation, or your ability actually to respond to different challenges with your health. So that is a problem. It's one of the factors actually that can actually mahirap i-control. So it is one of the, I don't have the numbers how much it can impact pre-diabetes proceeding to diabetes. However, it is one of the biochemical parameters that we see that if there's an increase in cortisol, there's also an increase in blood glucose levels.
Well, you also mentioned that the stressors come about, it actually goes and helps actually hasten yung diabetes, or actually moving from pre-diabetic to diabetic. That also brings up the topic of mental health here. Does mental health actually, a sound mental health actually help prevent diabetes? And of course, when it comes to the factors affecting you stress-wise, does staying away from those particular aspects of life or addressing that actually help in preventing diabetes, apart from, of course, a proper diet and exercise?
Essentially, if you have very good mental health, if you're mentally healthy, you make good choices. And that just not, that includes, of course, your lifestyle, the way that you choose your food, the awareness of your bodily conditions and your abilities to respond to different types of challenges in life. So that matters a lot, the mental health.
Gusto ko yan, when you're mentally healthy, you make good choices. And now that questions some of my personal choices in terms of food. But Doc, let's assume that someone's already diabetic, let's say around type 2 diabetes. And in terms of treatment, it's important to actually be consistent and, of course, really address the lifestyle changes. What are the typical stumbling blocks that you see in patients when it comes to keeping true to yung mga treatment nila?
Yeah. Number one kasi finances. Medications for the treatment of diabetes do not come cheap. Especially the more effective ones, the high efficacious, the more potent ones are more expensive. For example, those individuals who have diabetes but because they are obese. So, we've talked about the GLP-1 receptor agonists, the ones like that can make you lose weight. And in so doing, when they lose weight, blood glucose improves. But these medications are injectable and they are expensive. So one of the stumbling blocks would be that. And the availability of these medications. And number three, of course, some patients cannot accept that they have diabetes because they do not have any symptoms allegedly. So there are subtle symptoms, but some of them would be in denial, especially when it comes to eating with the family. Of course, medyo mahirap to adapt. Kasi kung minsan nakikita nila yung mga pagkain gusto nila, tapos hindi nila makain. So there is a problem with adherence to the diet as well. So with regard to the availability of the infrastructure for exercises and of course the availability of healthy foods, that's another problem. So it's really a societal thing. It's not just the individual that has a problem, it is also the society. And again, our government as well does not really cover so much about so much for those people who have prediabetes or at risk for prediabetes per se. So what the government is addressing more would be the disease already. So for the preventive factors, medyo may kakulangan tayo. Mahirap din naman because of the infrastructure. I mean, the budget allocation is not enough.
Yeah. Well, Doc, you know what? We could go all day talking about this. One of the things that really stuck out for me there is that mahal talaga magkasakit. The medication obviously really expensive. It's cheaper to be healthier, and hopefully we can get more people healthy as well. Doc, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We really appreciate it. You really are ready anytime. We appreciate you, and hopefully we can talk to you again some other time soon. She is a clinical associate professor from the Division of Endocrinology, Diabetes, and Metabolism at the Philippine General Hospital, Dr. Mia Fojas. Maraming salamat po. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, so that is it for Weather HQ today. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao. Now, eto na! I miss doing that. What do the stars have in store for us today? Let's go find out from resident energizer and feng shui master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for Monday, June 30. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, mag-ingat sa paggawa ng desisyon sa trabaho. Pag-isipan itong maigi. Pink at 1. Ox naman tayo, huwag magmadali sa isang malaking gastusin. Pag-isipan maigi. Siena at 5. Kay Tiger naman tayo, ang pagiging matyaga ay nagbibigay ng magandang resulta. Orange at 4. Sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rabbit, ang pagiging maalaga kay partner ay mas magpapatibay ng magandang relasyon. Violet at 7. Sa mga pinanganak tayo ng Year of the Dragon, uminom ng maraming tubig at umiwas sa labis na mga caffeine. Platinum at 2. Sa mga Year of the Snake naman tayo, change is good. Magdadala yan ng positibo na magandang resulta. Purple at 3. Ito naman! Give the horsey, ingatan ang kalusugan, kumain ng nutritious na food, beige at 8. Sa mga aftership naman tayo, may exciting at challenging na new project in store for you. Caramel at 8. Kay Monkey naman tayo, ang pagiging creative mo ngayon ay makakatulong sa bagong proyekto. Aqua at 7. Sa mga Year of the Rooster, mag-ingat sa kinakain, baka meron kang food intolerance. Magenta at 1. Kay Dog naman tayo, ang pagiging tapat at totoo ay magpapatibay na magandang relasyon. Gray at 6. Punta naman tayo kay Year of the Pig, isang sweet gesture mula kay partner ang magpapasaya today. Uy, kinikilig! Gold at 5. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan ang horoscope of the day araw-araw dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day with me, Master Hans Kua.
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. I'm so excited kasi sabi niya, my horoscope for today, I have something exciting and new
Alam mo,
project
you know what? We actually,
coming. Woo!
I can actually agree with that because we have something exciting here for Anne. Tapos na natin, oh, look at that!
There we go. That's our exciting
Oh
project.
my gosh!
The
Okay, lapit
resume
muna tayo.
on Anne's
Lapit muna
face
tayo. Oh
was
my gosh.
resume that she could not open her mouth
Okay.
while going down a roller coaster.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, i-break na muna natin. Ito po yung asawa ni Anne.
Alvin!
Look at that!
Oh my
Si
God!
Alvin! Napaka-happy ni
Publicize pa yung
Alvin.
asawa ko.
Natural.
Okay, napaka-natural. But then, we mentioned it a while ago. Anne cannot smile. Okay? At least sa stage trip niya. Direk, pwede ba i-zoom in si Anne dito? Right? Can
Uy,
we go
grabe
closer?
naman kayo. At
Okay?
least,
Okay, so ito. Buti na matangkad ako. Okay? Tingnan mo yung effort sa leeg niya. Grabe yung mga ugat. No? Oy, ayun, lumaki. Okay? And then, look at that. Alright? This.
Oh my God!
Pumipigil siya. She is stopping herself from screaming.
yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, promise. I'm not even denying
How
it.
hard was that to not scream
No.
or open your mouth when
The
you're
only
riding
sound, the
rides?
only sound I could do on that roller coaster ride was like, woo, woo, woo. Hindi ako kasi magsi-stretch yung muscles ko. Oh my God!
Can I just say,
Why did you show that
kami
nakita
ni-
ni Doc Sai?
kami ni Mo-
You posted this online
Pinost mo to eh.
If you didn't post this, we won't show it.
No, because I wanted to flex my husband going on a roller coaster ride kasi he has heart problems kasi so he's not
Wait
allowed
lang, may heart problem siya, then you put him on the roller coaster? Wait lang, wait lang, why are you trying to kill him?
I did not! I was not the one who told him to go. He was like, okay, let's do this. I can do
Hindi,
it. And then-
na-pressure siya. Look, I can't scream, but I'm gonna get on the roller coaster.
See, Anne like
Look
this
at
roller
that.
coaster.
Actually, kung nakita mo yung reaction namin ni Mo nung nakita namin,
Bro, we were
parang kami nasa
dying.
roller coaster. Nung nakita namin, again,
Oy,
we're so
wait.
happy you're back.
Oh, thank you. But at least may reaction ako. Si Maine Mendoza sa roller coaster ride.
reaction
She's
ka?
Don't bring her into this!
Oh, May didn't do anything
She
to
didn't
you.
do anything to you?
At least may reaction pa rin ako. Diba?
Is that the reaction?
Hindi, that's a little peep lang.
Ay, nako.
Okay, Anne, we missed you.
Oh my
I
gosh.
miss you guys
Can you open
too.
your mouth na ba now?
Yeah, no.
Tama pala yung prediction ni Master Hans. So something exciting is
I
happening.
know,
exciting.
right?
Oh, yan exciting. Di lang, I mean, like, you know what, Direk?
Ang lakas niyo mag-trip, ah.
To all our production, we really appreciate you. And
Ang bilis nyo.
just so we're all on the same page here, right after we say goodbye and we throw out all of the, and I throw out my script as per usual, pa-zoom in naman sa mukha ni Anne ulit. Okay? Just so we're all at the same page here. And we're gonna wrap up the show like that. That is it for us this Monday, June 30. I'm Paolo del Rosario. It's so great to be complete again. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Make today unforgettable by choosing joy and spreading love and kindness wherever you go and smile widely.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a beautiful day!
And let